Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Chargers Talk 4630. I'm Stacy, and I appreciate each and every one of you for taking a little time out of your day to hang out with me. I hope everybody's doing well, and we got another exciting Friday lined up for you today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also check out my website for more Chargers content at slmexpressions.com. This show is not possible without your support. Every view, every comment, every like, every share, every subscription, and every phone call helps this channel continue to grow. And I want you to know I appreciate every bit of it. Now, today is all about you. The phone lines are open and the microphone is yours. So call in and let's talk some Chargers football. Whether you agree or disagree, whether you got a hot take, a prediction, a concern, or just want to talk some football, I want to hear from you. The number to call is 848-202-7693. It's 848-202-7693. We're waiting for the phone lines to light up. We're going to be discussing about 3 topics that I think every Charger fan has probably asked themselves at least once. And you'll find out what they are all going down right here on Chargers Talk 40 Live. And I'm letting go. What's up, guys? How you doing today? Last Friday, we had some audio issues with fans that were calling in, and I believe they were all solved, but there's only one way to find out, and I'm sure you guys will let me know in the chat if you can't hear a caller that's talking if they call in today. So wish me some luck today. Okay, today we're talking about which Chargers have the most to prove when training camp gets underway. Which player do you think have the most to prove when training camp gets underway? Is it a young player looking to take the next step? Is it a veteran trying to hold on to his job? Or is it somebody fighting just to make the roster? Second, every NFL team has a weakness, right? Nobody's perfect. So I want you to tell me what concerns you the most about this Chargers roster. Is it left guard? Is it the cornerback room? Is it depth? Is it injuries? Or maybe you one of those fans that say, look, Stacey, I don't think this team has a weakness. If that's you, I want to hear from you. Now, before I give you my opinion, let me say this. I always tell people this show ain't about everybody agreeing with me. Matter of fact, I don't want everybody to agree with me. If you see it differently, I want you to be honest. Call in and tell me why. Your opinion matters just as much as mine, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want to see this football team finally bring home a Lombardi trophy, right? Me personally, I believe this football team has a legitimate chance to make a deep playoff run this year. And I've talked about the offensive line. I've talked about Justin Herbert. I've talked about this defense. I've talked about Jim Harbaugh. I believe this team has the most complete roster they've had in a long time. But I also hear the other side, too. There are fans that tell me all the time, Stacey, we've heard this all before. Every year, somebody picks the Chargers to make a run. Every year, somebody says they're the most talented team in football, right? Every year, somebody says, look out for the Chargers. And then something happens. Maybe it's an injury. Maybe it's a turnover. Maybe it's a coaching decision. Maybe it's just bad luck. How many times have we watched a Charger team that looked good enough to win it all, only to have something completely crazy and unexpected happen, right? Some people still talk about what if Marlon McCree would have just went down after he picked off Tom Brady in that championship game. He tried to return it. The ball was punched out from behind, and what looked like a game-clinching play all of a sudden turned into one of the most heartbreaking moments in Chargers history. Other fans mentioned Marty Schottenheimer years, right? One of the winningest coaches in the regular season, but struggled like crazy in the playoffs. I want to say this. I believe from, 2005 through 2009, a lot of people believe the Chargers team had as much talent as anybody else in football. And you know what? It's hard to argue against that. Those teams were loaded. But once the playoffs started, it always seemed like something goes wrong, right? And that's why I understand why some fans are still hesitant. I don't think they're being negative. I just think people have lived through too many heartbreaking losses, you know? So I get it. Now, do I think history will repeat itself this year? No, I don't. I think every season got its own story, right? Every team is different. Every locker room is different. Every coaching staff is different. And that's exactly why I believe this year's team deserves to be judged on what they do this season, not on what happened 10, 15, or 20 years ago. But what do you think? Has this franchise finally turned the corner? Or do they still have to prove it before you're ready to believe? Give me a call. I want to hear where you stand. Is this finally the year for the Chargers? Are the Chargers really legitimate Super Bowl contenders, or are we all getting a little ahead of ourselves? If you think they're ready to make a deep playoff run, I want you to call me and tell me why. If you think they're still a piece away, or one player away, should I say, I need to hear from you. So do me a favor. Pick up the phone. Give me a call. The number is 848-202-7693. It's right there on your screen. 848-202-7693. Tell me your name. Tell me where you're calling from. I'll give everyone a few minutes so we can keep the lines free so other callers can get through. And let's have some fun talking some Chargers football. We have somebody calling on the other end. Let's see if we can get this caller. Let's see who this is calling. Hello, this is Charles Talk 4630. You're live with Stacy. Who's this? Hello, who's this? I don't know if I got a bad connection. Hello, this is Stacy. Who's this? You're breaking up really bad. This is Isaac. Isaac, can you hear me? I need somebody to tell me in the chat room, can you hear? Isaac, speak up. It's very, very low. It's very, I can hear a little bit better now. I need someone in the chat room to tell me if you can hear Isaac. I don't want to just have a long, drawn out conversation if we having difficulty. Yeah. Someone please help me out in the chat room. I see Prince Bud in there. You know, you could go on and talk a little bit. I want to see if they can hear you. They said they can't hear you. I have someone saying they can't hear you. I don't know what it is. Isaac, do me a favor. Here's what we'll do, because we still can't hear you. And I don't know if that's on my end or your end. Yeah, I can hear you, but they're saying in the chat room that they can't hear you, and I'm trying to find out is that on my end or not. How about someone from the chat room, Isaac? Let someone else call through. You can stay right here on the phone. You don't have to hang up. Someone else can call through, and then we'll see if we can hear them. If we can't, then it's on my end. It's a technical issue on my end. If we can, then that means it's on your end. That's the only way that we can find out. We're live right now, so that's the only way we really can find out. How you doing today, though, buddy? Good. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Hold on. I'm gonna have. I apologize for having this technical issue, but I want to have someone call this line, and I want to see if the chat room can hear them because everything tested all week. Everything worked out fine. The number is 848-202-7693. Okay, I just text someone to give me a call ASAP. Since no one, the chat room is going to call. I think Prince said he's going to call in a few minutes. I definitely need. Okay, there's a call coming through. Okay, okay, right. I got that, but there's another call coming in now. So let me see if I can take this call. Hello, this is Stacy from Charters Talk 4630. You on live? Who's this? James from Georgia. I'm doing good. James, I was having some technical issues going on, and I wanted you to talk because I wanted people in the chat room. The last call I have on hold right now, and they were saying they can't hear him in the chat room. I can hear everything clear, but I want to make sure someone in the chat room help me out. I have James on. I have another caller calling in now. Now the calls are coming in. I just need to for them to hear my audio. Someone in the chat room, James, I need you to speak a little bit. Well, tell me how you doing. It. Where you from again? You from Georgia? Okay.
I'm a lifelong Charger fan. And I feel real good about the season this year,
Okay.
but I'm looking forward to the backup quarterback
Okay.
competition this year. Because if anything happens to Justin, he's going to be out a game or two. I
Absolutely.
would love for the backup quarterback to keep everything going so the Chargers can get some wins while Justin is recovering from whatever.
Yes.
We're knocking on wood. Hopefully that don't happen, but we need a solid backup. And Trey Lance last year in preseason he looked good, but once the offensive line went down in the regular season, he wasn't as efficient.
Yeah, if Justin struggled behind that line, you knew Trey Lance was going to struggle as well. Losing those two tackles hurt big time, man. And it was hard to get anything going in the passing game, especially without Amari Hampton being there missing 9 weeks as well. I turned my volume up. I'm hoping that people can hear this a little bit, because this is my first time doing live on calls, and everything tested out fine during the week. But for some reason right now, people can't hear the callers when they're calling the chat room. So I'm trying to, when you're on live, it's nothing you could do but try to troubleshoot and figure it out on the go. It says I can hear him, but very low. Okay, at least they can hear just a little bit. So how do you feel about going into training camp with the battles they're having at left guard, at the cornerback position? How do you feel about the team and the direction they're going in?
I feel wonderful. I believe in John and Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
When he first got hired, I was so happy because we finally had a coach that we could believe in, and I believe in him. You hear a lot of critics, say different things about the Chargers, even though he's there, but he's proven, in the last 2 years since he's been coached, they had 11 wins, and they
Yeah.
made the playoffs.
Yes.
And I feel good, and I'm a ride with Jim Harbaugh, and his coaching staff that he has assembled. And I don't know if you remember last year in the Hall of Fame game when the Chargers were playing Detroit.
Yes.
Jim Nance came on and he said the Chargers in 2 years they will be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And in 3 years, Detroit Lions will be in the Super Bowl. And Jim Nance, he's a reputable, commentator, so he knows things. So I can see them going all the way this year.
Yeah. I can too. As long as the injury thing is what been biting the Chargers for years. If they can just keep those guys healthy, I love the wide receiver group they have. I love the tight end room with David Njoku and Oronde Gadsden and Charlie Kolar. And Charlie Kolar is a lot better pass catcher than people think. He's known as just a blocker. But, I love the direction that they're going in. And I think with Jim Harbaugh, I think they have a Class A coaching staff on the offensive side, defensive side. And I believe if they could stay healthy, man, they really could make some noise in the AFC this year.
And that's what it is, the health. If we can stay healthy, man, and those two tackles are back, that's gonna the interior line, that's gonna make them better.
Yes.
We don't realize how devastating those two tackles, because they cover up a lot of mistakes from and when they were out, man, you could just see the line is not as good as they should have been. But
yes,
I'm looking forward to this year. Man.
Yes,
I can finally bring some of my Charger gear in closer to the closet to
yes,
put on, man.
Yes.
Because I've been in different places, man, and I'm and I rep the Chargers and people just laugh at me.
Yeah.
Chargers, So now hopefully I can laugh at them and say, and before I leave this earth, man, I want to know as a winner. I want to know what it feels like to be a winner.
Yes. You sound just like me, man. James, you sound just like me. I'm 62 years old. I've been a fan for going on 50 years now. And, I ain't got another 62 years in front of me. You know what I mean? So I'm saying if there was ever a time, the time is now. I think the defense is it's going to be a lot better than it was last year because of the additions. Losing Mentor was big, but also adding Dalvin Tomlinson on that defensive line with Tier Tart and Jamari Caldwell. The guy he really came on. I like the run defense. I love you have Derwin James, you got Khalil Mack. These guys, Khalil Mack, as great as he been, he still haven't made the playoffs yet. Well, he's made the play. He haven't won a playoff game, just like Justin Herbert. So I'm really rooting for those guys so hard, man. And this is the third year for Jim Harbaugh, man. I think this is the year they pop. I do.
Yeah, and I know I'm being optimistic,
Yeah.
but I can see them, man, only lose. Even though their schedule's hard, I can see them winning 13 games, man.
Yeah.
I can see them winning 13 games. Last year, Stacey, some of those games that they won, especially with Philly, with
Yes.
all those hits that Justin Herbert, and they won it in overtime, man. In that Pittsburgh game, the old Chargers would have lost that game.
Yes. Yes.
So I see the direction that Jim Harbaugh
Yes.
and the belief that the team has in them. And one thing you need to be a championship team, you need stars on all levels. We got a
Yes.
star on the defensive line,
Yes.
linebacker,
Mm-hmm.
safety.
Yes.
And we got stars, quarterbacks, receivers. And
Yeah.
with these guys coming in, special teams, man. I wish that they could be more like when field goals, to block field goals or block punts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They've never been that team. But that's another dynamic. If they
Yeah.
did do that, man, that would be awesome, man. If
Yeah.
they block kicks or block field goals.
Yeah. I want to get another caller back in, James. It was great talking to you, but before we go, man, the biggest thing that I love that Jim Harbaugh did for him to have this philosophy, this 80s and 90s philosophy of how to win football games, run downhill, win in the trenches, punch in the mouth, load extra tight ends up, and just run the ball, even though they're going to run the ball. He got away from that when he realized the last 2 years that Greg Roman was the wrong hire for a guy as talented as Justin Herbert. And you can't take the ball out of a number 10's hand. And for him to turn it over to Mike McDaniel and say, look, we're not going to win this way. We need to be more creative. We need, all the zone blitzes, the zone runs that Mike McDaniel does, just what he does to just create space for the running backs, open a lot of lanes. Look what he did to Tua. Like, Tua was like one hit from probably being out of NFL, and this man threw 5,000 yards under this guy. He did the same thing with San Fran. So I like the fact that Jim Harbaugh decided we need to turn Justin Herbert loose, but we need somebody like creative like Mike McDaniel. So yeah, I love that he did that. I know it was hard getting rid of Greg Roman. That was his man. But James, call me back another time, man, when we got this situation done. I would love to talk to you again, man. And thanks for the call. I really, really appreciate you, man. Don't be a stranger.
Hey, thanks a lot, Stacey. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
We'll be calling back and talking
Thank you.
Throughout training camp in the season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Isaac, you're back.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you good. I just, just some the people, they can hear a little bit because I turned my internal speakers up a little bit. It's getting on my nerve.
Okay.
But if they can hear just a little bit, I mean, we on live, so we just can't fix it right now. But we're gonna keep working on it. But listen, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. It's my Friday. I'm just at the job, just trying to get through the day, and I'm ready to talk Charger football, man.
Yes. Look, man,
Let's go.
thank you for calling back, man. Unfortunately, we having these technical issues, and we'll work them out. But I appreciate you for taking the time to come back so everybody can hear what you had to say. So my question to you is this. What's your overall outlook on the Chargers team heading into training camp?
My overall outlook is I expect great things from the offensive line first and foremost. Because that's been the biggest thing that we needed to build.
Yeah.
And all the depth pieces that they took.
Yeah.
and brought in from free agency and from the draft, I believe they have the best outlook to put this team together as a whole.
Yeah. If you could point to one player that you believe is gonna like surprise Charger fans this year, who would it be and why?
Tyler Biotish.
Okay.
To me, he's going to be the outlier because we haven't had a legit good center
Okay.
since Corey Lindsey. And that's something that we've needed for the past few years.
Yeah.
Since Justin Herbert became a Charger.
Yeah.
We haven't had no good center since Corey Lindsey. And that's been the biggest hiccup. And I think with Tyler Biotish, he might be the best option we have to get far within the season.
Yeah, to call out the protections and to pick up those blitzes that Bradley Bozeman was just letting people just run past him without moving. But
getting bullied.
Yeah.
Straight getting bullied.
Yeah. What's one thing you like to see the Chargers improve before week 1 that would give you a lot more confidence that this is going to be a Super Bowl team?
Honestly, it would be between how the run game looks and how the defense is put together.
Yeah. Isaac, look, you're in Denver, Colorado. You know, do you get a lot of grief from people in Denver, Colorado?
And I get it. I get it nonstop. I get
Okay.
it nonstop. Every time I put my jersey on, every time I even mention the Chargers, I get it from everywhere, from both sides.
Yeah, they talk about the thin air. You know, the high altitude in Denver. Is that a thing for real? I haven't been to Denver before.
Yeah, it's a thing. It is a real thing. If you can't handle the altitude out here, you won't survive.
Okay.
Like, you have to stay like my man Denzel Perryman said, stay hydrated. You that is a thing. You need to stay hydrated when you're out here.
Okay.
Because you won't make it.
I need some more callers to call in because I had a lot of callers that were calling in, like 4 or 5, but because they knew that it was difficult for the audience to hear, you know, they dropped on out instead of waiting. So, Coats Live Audio, I see you be hollering at me in the comment section on the podcast all the time. Prince Bud, I want to hear from you guys. We have another Michael Bolden calling in. I'll let them pick up. I want to ask you this before we go, Isaac. Look, tell me in one paragraph, tell Chargers Nation what being a diehard Charger fan means to you.
Okay, I can do it in 2 words actually.
Go ahead.
Being a diehard Charger fan for me is fully embracing what San Diego had.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm taking it that far.
Okay.
I'm talking about how Rivers and all of those guys built a foundation.
Yeah.
To what this Chargers team is going to be today.
Okay.
And I fully believe that within these next couple seasons, we will have a championship in SoFi Stadium.
I like it.
And that is what it means to be a diehard Chargers fan.
I like it, man. I like it.
I love this team to my very soul.
I like it.
And I will always fight for this team.
There you go. There you go. Isaac, pleasure talking to you again, man. Your shirt is on the way, man. And call me back next week. When we get this right, I want to talk when we get this right. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Hello, you on live with Stacy. Who's this?
Hey, Stacy, hey, it's Mike Mazza calling you from Tulsa, Oklahoma. How you doing?
From Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm doing good. How are you doing, man?
Man, I've seen better days, but I'm going to keep it positive because I don't want to bum anybody else out on a Friday.
Okay.
My house just went through foreclosure and went to auction on Tuesday, so I don't have long before I'm on the streets homeless.
Oh, wow, man. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I just, like I said, I want to try to keep it positive, and the one thing I tend to see a lot online from Charger fans is freaking out about losing Jesse Minter and Chris O'Leary being brought on, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I'd like to say to those people worried about it is you got to remember that Chris O'Leary has already coached in Jesse Minter's scheme. He knows it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And Minter had not been an NFL defensive coordinator before he got to the Chargers either.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of the reason why I'm not really concerned about it. Plus, he's going to be more aggressive. Uh, and he was like I said, he's already the DB's coach, and there's people are freaking out about them not going and getting like a number one corner in free agency.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. Look at what he did with Elijah Molden in a couple of days.
Yes.
When he got here. So I just wanted to call and kind of try to help allay people's concerns about him, because he obviously must be a good coach if Jim Harbaugh brought him onto the team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And look at what he did with Western Michigan.
Yeah, they were dead last almost in every defensive category, and he made them a top 3 defense in 1 year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, man. Look, man, I'm sorry to hear that news, man, and I hope I'll say a prayer, man, and hope that things get a whole lot better a lot sooner for you, man. I wish the call was we could have a whole lot more fun, but that kind of like put a stain on a little bit. I hated to hear that, but
I'm sorry.
Keep in touch, man. Call back again next week, man, and hopefully you'll have some better news than what you had today in terms of your living arrangements and all. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Thanks a lot for the prayer, brother. I can take all the help I can get.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Stay in touch, man.
Have a great weekend, Charger fans.
All right, then. Take care. All right, well, you're welcome, man. Wow, that was deep. Let me make sure we hunt that up. Okay. I'm doing the job of like 4 or 5 people right now, answering phones, switching, transferring lines over. I don't know why I'm still having this issue. I'm glad that you guys are still hanging there with me, although I'm struggling to get through this because, man, it would be so perfect if the audio was going through. I did a lot of testing all week. Everything was perfect. I don't know what's going on with it right now, but obviously I turned my speakers up in here so that maybe you can hear a little bit of it. But all right, while we're waiting for more people to call, I want to repeat the questions I had put out there earlier because I really want to hear what you guys thought. Like I said earlier, this show ain't about me. It's about you two. The microphone is yours today. I want to hear what you got to say, whether you agree with me or whether you think I'm completely wrong. Pick up the phone. Let's talk some Chargers football despite of the adversity we're dealing with right now. Today's topics that we were discussing was which Charger had the most to prove when training camp opens. Like, think about this. Every player faces some level of pressure during training camp, right? Like, every player does not come in under the same pressure because some guys already know they're starters. Some guys are fighting for playing time. Some guys are fighting to just make the roster. But for me, one of the first names that come to mind is Trey Harris. I think this is a big year for him. This is his second season, and now it's time to show everybody and the coaching staff why they believe in him so much. Can he become somebody Justin Herbert trusts every week? Can he consistently make those tough catches? Can he create separation? Can he become one of those receivers that defenses have to account for, right? Because if he take that next step, this changes the offense completely. Another player I'm looking at is Junior Colson. Now, here's the thing. This is year 3. He's healthy now. He knows the system. He already knows what Jim Harbaugh expects because they've been playing together when they was with Michigan. Before now, it's about Junior Colson proving that he can become an impact player and linebacker in the NFL. Can he become that guy that's flying all over the field making plays? If Junior Colson becomes that player, this defense gets a whole lot better. Now, here's a guy that I think is going to have a problem making this roster. That's Bud Dupree. Look, he's a veteran that's been around a long time, but here's the question. Can he still be productive while helping to bring along these young pass rushers, right? Because we all know these young guys are coming, and they pushing for snaps too. So Bud Dupree has a lot to prove if he going to make this roster. And then you got Scott Matlock. Man, I have a lot of respect for Scott Matlock. Nobody questions his effort. Nobody questions how hard he works. But effort alone ain't going to make it in this league. He's got to show he deserves a spot on this football team. Every training camp, somebody surprises, right? Every training camp, somebody gets left behind, right? With so much depth now, do Scott Matlock have a realistic shot at making this team? That's what I want to know from you. That's going to be interesting to watch. But what do you think? Which Charger have the most to prove? Maybe it's somebody I didn't even mention. Maybe you got somebody in mind that I didn't think of. Give me a call and let's talk about it. 848-202-7693, 848-202-7693. And I promise you, people, I'm going through it right now because when the calls come through, for some reason, I hear everything nice and clear, but the caller who's calling in, the audience outside cannot hear it. They only hear me talking. I know that's a pain in the behind, but I promise you, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to work 24/7 around the clock when I get done with this podcast. I'm going to make sure I fix this issue. And such a bummer, but I'm fighting to get through it. But hey, look, sometime in life you go through adversity. Sometimes things don't go the way it's planned, and you find a way, you fight through it. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a job of 4 people right now, Let's move on to the next topic while we're waiting for another call to come through. What's the biggest concern for this football team that you might have? And don't tell me the roster is perfect, because we know there's no team in NFL that's perfect. Every roster has at least one position you can improve on. What position do you think needs to be improved? Is it left guard? If you want to see, do you really want to see somebody take control at left guard? Because we hear, I was told, not personally, through reports and through listening to beat reporters, that Jake Slaughter had been coming on at the end of OTAs, but I can't mess his name up because people jump on me when I say his name wrong. Ayode Awosika, I got it right. Ayode Awosika had an advantage over Jake Slaughter because he's a rookie and he was learning all the nuances of a new position that he hadn't played. And mind you, that was all in shorts too. So we don't know when the camp start and you got to put the equipment on and everybody start hitting. We don't know. Jake Slaughter's talent may rise to the top, So my thing is, do you think that I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to put that because Jake Slaughter is still a rookie. We got to give him a pass. I think Ayode Awosika should have been ahead of him. He's a veteran. He's been around. He's played left guard for several years. So that's why he have an advantage. It don't matter to me. If Ayode Awosika wins, it don't matter to me. As long as he can help that offensive line block and protect Justin Herbert, then I'm okay with it. If Jake Slaughter wins, I'm okay with it. I don't care. As long as he makes that offensive line better, as long as they can protect Justin Herbert, as long as they can create holes for the running backs to run through, I really don't care. I'm at that point now, I just want to win. I don't care who it is. So I'm not rooting for anyone in particular. I'm just rooting for whoever wins that job. So I don't know, man. Maybe your concern ain't even a position. I don't know what you guys thinking. Is it depth? Because we know injuries happen every year. Too many for us. Hopefully that don't be an issue this coming season. But the teams that make deep playoff runs usually have players that can step in when somebody else goes down, right? And we got a lot of depth. And I love that we have a lot of depth because in the past, every team deal with injuries, not just the Chargers. And they always say that next man up, next man up. It don't matter. You go down, next man up. But what good or what sense do it make for that next man up mantra if the next man up is not good? The guys, when we start having injuries on the line and we were losing people left and right, the guys that were stepping in at times didn't even look like they belonged on an NFL roster. But I think that changed now. We have depth. We have guys that can ball. A great draft again by Joe Ortiz. So I don't know. I'm very optimistic about this season. I love the depth we had. I think if we get injured here or there, I don't think we're going to miss a beat because I think we have a lot of guys that probably can be starters on some other teams. What you guys think? Or maybe your biggest concern is just staying healthy altogether. But I say if Justin Herbert, Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt, Derwin James, just to name a few of them guys, if they stay healthy, this football team looks scary of how good it could be. For real. What is your concerns? Or maybe you're sitting there saying, Stacey, I don't think we really have a concern. If that's you, Give me a call. Let's talk about it. Give me a call, 848-202-7693. Now, look, here's a $1 million question. And this is what I've been asking over and over. Is this finally the Chargers' year? I do. I think it is. What do you think? I've been hearing it from a lot of people. I personally think this team is ready to become a Super Bowl contender right now. But I want to know what you think. Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Or is this football team really built to make a serious run, or we just bugging, we just tripping? Here's why I believe they are. You got Justin Herbert. You got Jim Harbaugh going into another season with this football team. First 2 years, we were abysmal. 4 wins or 5-win team when he came and took over? We were a mess. I think the Raiders scored 1,000 points on us, and that embarrassing. It was time to get Brandon Staley out. But since then, he's taken that team, and we won 11 games in back-to-back seasons and 2 playoff berths. Yes, we are knocked out. It's time to win now in the playoffs. But the offensive line looks stronger. The defense looks deeper. The roster has more competition to me than they had in a long time. Those are all reasons to believe. But I also understand why some fans are still cautious, right? They want to see this team finish. They want to see this team beat elite teams when it matters. They want to see this team winning games in January. And those are all fair questions. But where do you stand? Are the Chargers legitimate? Are they legitimate Super Bowl contenders? Or do they still have something to prove to you before you're willing to believe? That's going to do it for this edition because I'm not getting the calls. It's a lot fighting through this without having, I had about 4 or 5 people in the queue, but they understand that what's the use of going on because the audience can't hear, and I don't know what the hell that is, but I promise as soon as I get off the phone and in this podcast, I'm going to be right on with tech support, do a bunch of troubleshooting, and have several people to call while we're figuring this thing out. And I'm going to make sure that, and I'll probably have to go live again in order to make sure it really, really works. But this is just a stepping stone. This is, a little mishap. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to go through some adversity. And right now we're going through a little adversity trying to do this live calling thing. But I can promise you that we're going to get it right. And guys will be able to call in and we could really, really relax and have some real good Chargers talk or just talk football in general. But before I jet out, I want to promote my website. And I want to tell you guys, I did this for you guys. Let me tell you like this. When I was young, coming up in the mid-'70s, loving the Chargers, I only seen them once in a blue moon. You only saw the Jets and the Giants on TV at that time. You had no NFL ticket. I think the NFL ticket didn't start to 1994. The first cell phone was 1983. I think that was a Motorola. YouTube didn't come out until 2005. So there was no social media like that. Like you can go and see all these video clips. I saw last week the 1951 heavyweight bout between Joe Louis and Rocky Marciano. You watch that whole thing on YouTube. We didn't have all that stuff when I was younger. I heard people on different sport networks that would say things that I just thought wasn't true, or they're pushing a false narrative against the Chargers, and I couldn't say anything. I would be so angry. I'll go to work, and I've been yelling and screaming with people going back and forth, either at work or even when I was in school, right? But now I decided to do this because I wanted you to have a voice, because I didn't think I had a voice. We could never say how we felt. And I'm doing this because, look, I never did it for employment. I retired from a career in law enforcement, so I'm okay. My wife is going to retire next year, so we're doing okay. I did it because I love the Chargers. I love talking about the Chargers. I love talking about football. And I wanted to incorporate you guys in with what I was doing because I wanted you to have a voice. If you disagree with me, I don't want us screaming and disrespecting each other in the chat room and cursing and carry on like they do on social media. I want us to call and have a civil conversation, and we can agree and disagree and still be good with each other. You know what I mean? So that's why I did all this, and this led me to build this website called SLM Expressions. And I want to let you guys see what I've been doing, and I'm doing it for you. I really am. Check this out. If you're an NFL fan, I built this website with you in mind. And the best part is, it's not just about the Chargers. No matter which of the 32 NFL teams you cheer for, there's something there for everybody. I post daily updates in real time covering all 32 NFL teams, along with original articles and opinions that I personally write. Inside the NFL Hub, you'll find stories covering everything from last season all the way up to today's biggest headlines. So if you enjoy football debates, check out the hot take section, where you can answer fun questions and then continue the conversation in the community chat with other football fans. You can also visit the fan zone for trivia, polls, and interactive content. You'll also find information about how Chargers Talk 4630 got started, learn a little bit more about me as an author, and check out my books that's available on Amazon.com. And if you like to support the show, stop by SLM Merch. We've got Chargers Talk 4630 t-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, and even more for the entire Boat Up family. Before you leave, I really appreciate it if you take a minute to leave a review and let me know what you think of the site. So head on over to slmexpressions.com, join the community, and let's keep the football conversation going. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah, I spent a lot of money. I made a lot of sacrifices to do this because I wanted Charger fans to have a lot of things that I didn't have coming up. You know what I mean? With the social media, I just wanted you to have a voice. And that was the reason I did all of this. That's the reason I built the website. And it took a lot to do that. And it took a lot of sacrificing to do that. But I'm doing it for all of us. We all going to benefit from it. This SLM Expressions could be one of your sources for not only Chargers. If you're a Giant fan, if you're a Commanders fan, if you're a Cowboy fan, if you're a Jets fan, Steelers, I'm covering daily updates on all 32 teams. So there's something there for everybody. Trivia questions, hot takes. We have a live chat room. So you can go in and start conversations. I have a live fan zone room where fans can go and share different information, share ideas. So if you would go in there and write something, do that for me, write something in to get a conversation going in the community chat room. If you can go on and write a review for me, that will really do me a lot of good. It will make me feel like all these things that I'm doing is well worth it, and just trying to give you more platforms because there's so many. You can't watch ESPN and First Take and they're not going to talk about the Chargers. They're not. And if they do, they're going to talk about a team not making the playoffs. Justin Herbert can't do this. Justin Herbert overrated. Who wants to hear that? I want you to come and hear the real. If there's some criticism that needs to be done, I'll do it. And you still know that I'm still one of the biggest diehard Charger fans ever. But when it's time to give them their flowers, I'm going to do that too. I'm tired of hearing people on sports shows saying, the Chargers could be good in the playoff if Quentin Johnson can learn to hold on to the ball. There were 26 wide receivers last year that had more drop passes than Quentin Johnston. So they push false narratives all the time. Here, you want to hear the truth. So I'm not going to get going, because I get all worked up. I'm kind of like inside. I'm disappointed that we couldn't get that audio going because a lot of people wanted to call in, and it's disappointing that that issue I thought was corrected and it's still not corrected, but I'm going to do everything I can to make it work. But I just want to share a little bit what was in my heart and why I was doing these things. So I want you guys to go on to SLM Expressions. I want you to go in and check out, all the articles that I wrote on the Chargers. You don't have to be just a Charger fan. If you're a football fan and you're listening to this right now, I have your team up there too. So it's a beautiful thing. It could be a nice source of information from your team, and I thank you guys for hanging in there with me knowing that I was fighting through this adversity, but you hung in there with me anyway. And I appreciate you guys, and I'm going to bust my tail and make sure that we get this right. And when we do get it right, this is going to be one of the sources that a lot of people are going to come to for honest takes, real takes. You know, not just some mumbo jumbo, not no BS. We're going to keep it 100% real on this podcast. And I thank you all for your support. I thank you for your every call, every email. Oh, let me let you know. This shirts, we have these shirts now, $19.99. If you want to support what I'm doing, you know, you can go to SLM Expressions and you can purchase these shirts. They'll start next Friday. Hoodies, T-shirts, hats, coffee mugs. I'm doing it all for you, man. I'm doing it all for you. You know, I'm trying to do right by Charger fans. I know so many guys that are Cowboy fans, Steeler fans, and they got so many things going on, but we hardly don't have nothing going on. So I'm going to be the one that makes sure that when it's all said and done, the Chargers have it going on. And we're going to get to that Super Bowl. I really believe it. I feel it in my bones. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. I claimed it already. Now, if it don't happen, I'll have to come on here and face the music. But I just believe with the team and the coaching staff and with Justin Herbert in year 7, with Amari Hampton, with Kamani Vidal, you know, with Keaton Mitchell, you know, with Aronde Gaston and David Njoku and Charlie Kolar and Trey Harris and Lab McCoy. Listen, man, we are stacked across the board. I believe we stay healthy. I believe Jim Harbaugh gets his first Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Chargers in SoFi Stadium. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. I want to thank you again for tuning in, hanging in there with me. Everybody that joined the conversation. This show is different because it ain't just about my voice. It's about yours too. If you didn't get through today, I understand. We were going through this issue with the audio. Don't worry. Next week, I'm going to make sure the phone lines are open. They're all going to be working. Everything going to be working like the way it's supposed to. If you can't join me live, you can still be a part of the show. Just call the Chargers Talk 4630 hotline anytime, any day of the week. Leave a voicemail message. If you got a question or a comment, I'll play it in the next live show call-in, which is Friday. So whether you're calling in live or doing a voicemail during the week, your voice still matters. And I want this show to be a place where Charger fans can always be heard, right? Remember, every Monday I'll be right here with my regular podcast breaking down the latest news with the Chargers, storylines, everything happening, right, with the Chargers. And as long as nothing major breaks during the week, I'll be back here on Friday for another Chargers Talk 4630 live call-in show. I want to thank you again 1,000 times, man, for all the support you've shown me. Thank you for the callers that came in and had patience with me. I truly appreciate every view, every comment, every phone call, every text, every voicemail, every subscription, everyone that's helped this community continue to grow. I thank you. Don't forget, for more exclusive Chargers content, go to my website at www.slmexpressions.com where you'll find content that you won't see anywhere else. That's slmexpressions.com. Until next time, I'm Stacy, and this has been the Chargers Talk 4630 live call-in show where the fans have a voice. God bless you. Bolt up. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And again, my apologies for this audio issue. Really got on my nerves, but I'll get it right next week.